Hi guys.
Hello everyone.
I'm Rahul.
I'm Charul.
Okay. So this is the webcast about like we were last like in the last webcast we discussed about that this will be a series of webcast on authentication. The first one was HTTP basic and the form based authentication. Today is about certificate based authentication and more we will be going more into like cookies about cookies. Like before diving into certificates based authentication and this cookies thing, we will I want to talk, I want to like show you about like which I was not able to show in the last webcast, like how HTTP basic authentication is done, and also the form based authentication and how your password goes as a plain text. So I want to just like show it to you because last time we were not able to do.
Yeah,
So
like if you do a post request, then how your username and password it will be going to the server, and like you can see it actually.
so
Like a
just
demo of it.
yeah. So what I am going to do, I will be using a Postman app. So Postman app is there. So it's a kind of app where I can send HTTP request. I can do the same thing with like curl or request anything, but it's a GUI based kind of application which you can. It's pretty easy to see what's happening. So let me go through it. So I have taken this URL, this httpwatch.com. So why I'm taking this URL? Because this is a kind of domain which allows us to do basic authentication, and on our Flask app, which we demonstrated last week, we didn't implemented the basic authentication stuff. We have implemented the form based authentication. So just to show you quickly, let me do that. So this is the URL. Okay, and let me select the previous which I did. So this is the URL and the authorization type. If I go to the authorization type, so I have selected the basic auth, and the username on this site is, if you go into, I will share the link of this site, and if you go this site, the username should be http watch, because it's a demo site, so they have fixed the username. And then we need to provide the password. So I need to provide any password, like for this case I'm providing 12345, and then I'm making a send request.
So this is a post request.
This is the post request. So I made a post request. As you can see that it's the status is showing 200 here. Okay, it means that I was able to log in. And if you go into the header file, you can see that the authorization header, I have the information written something like basic. And this is the part. This is the part. It is your username and password which has encoded into base 64 form. It's nothing else, a plain text. Anyone can like convert it to the original username and password. So you can see that this authorization, like here, like everything went on a plain text. Now moving to Charles, he will demonstrate how your form based authentication username password was also in a plain text.
Okay.
So I am going to
Yeah.
open Chrome, and let me move it the screen to the our app which is running. So here is the app.
And here we are doing the login. So we have a username already. We created the sign up, and we have a username Charul, and the password is 1234. So we'll do the post request. And if you see, so these are the developer tools, and here in the network tab, we'll see what are the requests we are making and what are the like all the images, webs, and yeah, it will show you like how the header will like what will be contained in the header. So
I think I have entered the wrong password. Let me check. It was like okay.
Let's do the sign up, and
let's do the sign up.
yeah, okay. So let's create a username which is okay, like one, and then some email and password. Okay, and we'll create our user, and then we'll do the login. So we just clear this, and it is okay. And now password is 123. So we'll do this submit request, and if you go and see the login, and here if you see here that username and password, so it is in the plain text. So this is like the information that will go in the header, and it is simple plain text that the how the information will go. So like in HTTP, information goes in the simple text, and in HTTPS it goes in the encrypted form.
Yeah, so the last time we talked about like all this thing were on HTTP stuff. We never talked about like what was HTTPS thing. So you can see that this thing will be appended to your URL in the post request, and user can see username, password. So anyone who can intercept your connection between the server and the client, he can see all this thing. So there are tools to do that. They are like particularly named as Wireshark is a one tool where you can intercept the packet and can see what's information it is containing. And if it is not on HTTPS connection, then you can easily see the username, password, or the whatever the sensitive informations client are trying to send to their server. So this is the example that we need to quickly wrap up. So now we will move
Yeah,
into
now
the
we move to certificate based authentication, and these are the docs that we have already shared. So yeah, let's start. Okay, there is some full stack nano degree certificate. Okay, I don't think it is this certificate.
Yeah, we are not going to talk about this certificate, though this certificate is a kind of way to show that you are the authenticated uh, student that completed the nano degree because it was certified by the Sebastian, and you can show to anyone. So it's a kind of
Yeah, it's like a certificate given by Udacity that Udacity has authenticated. Yeah, you are a student who has completed a nano degree at Udacity. So similarly, in the web, we also have certificates where it's server based. Like there are two types. We have certificates for server, and we have certificates for client. So like it's simple, and like if you want to know like what it is, it's like if you want to verify a server, then okay, if you want to verify a server, the server needs to have a certificate. Like for a server, we have a host name. Let's say it's like google.com. So for that, it should have a certificate which is given by a certificate authority, which the client can trust. Similarly, for the client, it should have a certificate which is given by a certificate authority, which the server can trust. Okay, so let's go ahead, and we can see like how you will authenticate a server.
So, Charu, like you can draw like this analogy with something like a kind of parcel thing. I think that in that case, like something the parcel guy who is taking some package.
Yeah, so like we this is like a everyday example. So you there's a parcel boy who wants to give a parcel to your address. He comes to your address, and what he'll say, okay, I don't know if you are the right person to whom the parcel needs to be delivered. So he'll ask you for the ID, and if you show some ID that okay the parcel boy can trust on, then he will see the ID, and he will say yeah that this ID is correct, and he will give you the parcel. So similarly, if there is a in case of server, okay, so in case how it is technically, so if you like yeah, in case of server, let's say if there is a google.com, which how do we identify the address? It's like it is a domain name address like google.com, which is translated to IP address. So if there is something that needs to connect to server, then it will ask like okay what is the address, and then it will like ask for the certificates.
Okay, so like summing up this, Charu, the idea you are trying to tell to us is like, okay, so we have like for address, the analogy with the address was like it's a kind of domain address. So google.com is a kind of address, and SSL layer, SSL client, or this is the person who is the delivery guy. Now he is taking my packet which to the server, and he's trying to check whether the server whom he is delivering is correct or not. And the way to check it is like to check the certificate, whether it has been the certificate has been provided by authorized authority or not. If it's there, it delivered the package. If I am correct,
Yeah,
what do you
yeah.
mean to
So
say?
SSL layer will check if the certificates are correct, and then it will deliver it.
Okay, so you here, I think you are talking about man in the middle attack.
Yeah. So
So can
like,
you explain that?
yeah. So
What happens like if the someone like other can impersonate as the
yeah,
server?
like if there's a parcel boy and he comes to your place, and let's say some other person shows some ID, and the parcel boy delivers, like he has to check if the person is correct or not, and he might deliver the okay, he might say okay, this is the right person or not. He might say okay, yeah, this is the right person, and then he will give the parcel to the wrong person. Some other person might impersonate that person. So similarly, like there can be some attackers or hackers like who will impersonate our web server, and they will show the same certificates or the similar certificates which the SSL could trust. So this way, man in the middle attack can happen.
So you are trying to tell me is like someone, some other server, like someone other person, like or hacker has spoofed the IP address of the
Yes.
server, and my SSL client has taken my packet to that server, considering that he's the
He's
original, like
the
the
original.
genuine
Yeah.
server. So this way, my like important evidence which was in that inside that packet will be delivered to some hacker's site or something malicious site. Okay, I get it. So okay, yeah.
Okay. Let's move to how you can authenticate a
So
client.
this was all about like here it's all about like authentication of the server.
Yes.
Now we need to like authenticate who is the client,
Yeah.
how client can be authenticated, who is the genuine client on the web. So uh, can you tell me more about it?
Okay, I'll share the screen so that we can see the docs. So let's say if you want to go to some, okay, let's say if you want to go to some bar, and where the bar has to authenticate if you are the right person to enter into the bar or not. So the front guy, he will ask you to give some ID, to show your ID so that he can verify if you are the right person or not. And let's say if you show some ID which is he can't trust, let's say if you show your European ID card, and this ID he don't know about this ID, so he will say okay, show me your European some passport that I can trust on. So if you show your passport, then only he will let you to enter into the
Okay.
bar.
So what you are trying to say, for example, if I translate your analogy into technological term, it means to say that like the bar is a kind of authorized server, like the google.com is an authorized server, and I want to enter. So it is trying to say to the client. So here the client is the browser, I think the
Yeah.
client is the browser who is trying to enter into that server, and to authorize a client, the server, the registered server asks for your certificate. And I think that these certificates are generated using like your browser or the your machines generate all these
Yeah, so
certificates.
most of these certificates on the client side are generated by the browser. So if you are using like latest browsers like your Firefox, Safari, Chrome, then you will get all the latest certificates, and you will be able to like do request on most of the servers. Otherwise, like if you use some old browser, let's say Netscape, then it has the old certificates which the servers don't verify or they don't authenticate, so they might not allow you to request to the servers.
Yeah. So it was like the certificates which we have here on the browsers. So nowadays, when you install your browser and in your OS, like the OpenSSL program, so they install like all the certificates which we require to like access any site, and these are certificate which are already verified. So as a client, if you have the latest version of Chrome and your OS is already updated, it means that you have already have all the certificate required on the client side. But on the server side, you have to like when you are making a server, you have to generate the certificate and get this certificate verified by authority. So we can show a demo about what these certificates are to all, and there you can see like what we are talking about exactly. I think example is the best way to show thing.
Okay, let's do
So
it. Yeah. So here is the yeah, okay. So if you go on apple.com website, and if you want to see the certificates of your server, then how you can see it? So I open the app. How you can see the certificates? If you open the apple.com, then here if you click it, so if you click on the details, you can see that there. I'll close it first. So if you open it and you click on the details, then this will open and it will show that it has some certificates which are valid by this browser. And if you want to view the certificate, you can see it here. Yeah, so these are the details of the certificate, and this is like the certificates which are given by the server, and your client has verified, like your SSL layer has verified your those certificates.
so yeah, I think this certificate means to like this certificate is of apple.com server. It that you can check the
Yeah.
IP of it, and it have the this certificate. And when we are seeing on the Chrome that this page, if you see here, it shows the green signal. It means that
It has been
Chrome
verified.
nowadays all the browser have this kind of program which they validate automatically whether the request like those server have the proper certificate or not. So if we click here, we see the certificate at Charul Studio, and here is the in details we can see more about like who is the authority who has given this certificate. So here issued by, it is written the semantic class 3. So these are the type of the certificate, and yeah, so these are the certificates. So it is a kind of server certificate. If we need to show the client
Client
certificate,
certificates, yeah.
like which we have on our machines, which are used to verify us like we are a like legitimate client for this server. So if you go into settings and if you click on the hide
No,
so
you have to,
advanced
yeah.
setting, and then if you click on this manage
Certificate.
certificates, then these are the like list of certificates which are there. So there are like lot many certificates are there on the client side, and these are like, and why these are so many certificates are there, because all the different services require different kind of certificates.
Yeah, they have like different requirements. They,
Yeah.
like they can trust on different organizations like who
Yeah.
give the certificate. So this is how like all the certificates which are given by your OS or your browser, and these are like client side certificates.
Okay, cool. Okay, so this was all about certificates. So if you guys are like thinking about how to make your like how to make the authentication using, now you might be thinking like how to make the authentication using the certificates, like how user can authenticate themselves. So the perfect example comes from your P7 project. Is all about like when you get your Amazon AWS instance, EC2 instance, and when you try to log in using your SSH.pem file. So .pem file is a kind of certificate which is generated. So if I show you, like for example, here is like the pem file I have generated, and it can be generated using the program you might have already know, I think most of you. So if I show you, it can be generated like this program. Yeah, so there is a SSH key generator program is there inside our OS, and this is the program which everyone, like, it's a kind of authority in itself. It means that the key which are generated using SSH keygen, the algorithm it used, it's are like very good, and every people like accepts that the key generated using this
SSH.
program is like true one. So, and no other person can, like, no other program can like make a key like this. So this is the
Yeah, it
command.
will be an encrypted key.
Yeah.
So, and it will be given by SSH. So most of the organization, they trust on SSH. So they will see, okay, yeah, this is generated by SSH. So we can, it has something we can trust on.
Yeah, so I have already generated the program using this command, and I can show you the example RSA key, what are the content is there. So if I click here, and if you can see, so this is the content. So it's a kind of encrypted, it's written. No one, like, if you want to decrypt this thing, it's like nearly impossible with the current computation we have. So it's not hackable kind of thing. So that's what we wanted to show in this one. So this is the certificate. So when you are like, let me clear again. So when you are trying to like authenticate yourself, you type like SSH, and then you provide your key, like ID. Okay, I'm not in this. I think I example. Let me write. Okay, I'm not in this folder. I think that's why it's not. Okay, so when we are typing this SSH, so this is the program through which I want to log in, and then I need to provide my example, this key, which is already uploaded on the authorized key on my server, and the my server is like host is there, and then we provide the port. So by this way we authenticate. So I tried to generate this kind of I was trying to like implement the server based authentication on Flask some way, but till now we were not able to like do it. But next time again we will try, and we will try to demo on Flask app also, like how you can do server like a certificate based authentication. But this is a one example where it happens, and another example is like all of your like web server and the client side your browser have all the certificates. So this way it happens. Yeah, so moving ahead.
Yeah. Next is cookies.
Yeah, we will talk about cookies. Okay, so for cookies, like you can download the app from GitHub and the project code, and you can install all the requirements, like what are the dependency packages are there, and thereafter you are good to go. Okay, so are we going to talk about these cookies, or it's like different cookies?
In web, it's different actually.
Okay, so let me turn on the camera again. Let me stop sharing this. Okay, guys. So we are talking about HTTP cookies. So HTTP cookies, as most of you are aware, that it's simply a text file which contains data in the browser itself. So it's a like a text file stored into your browser, and the sites can access this data, and that's it. That's it. It's simple, one line.
Yeah,
It's a
that's
text
like
file.
they'll remember how, like if you have already visited the website, like
Yeah.
this is how your websites remember you as a user, like you have seen it, you have already visited it, so they will store your cookies in the browser.
Yeah.
And next time you go, they'll see, okay, it has already the information. Then maybe it will help to, like next time it will take less time to open the website, or
Yeah, you are talking about one of the like uses of the
yeah.
cookies, like how cookies are used. We will be talking about that. So for example, let me show you. Like let's do the demo like as quickly, because there is nothing lot to cover on this thing, and most of you are aware about it. But I just want to refresh it and refresh your like what you can do with the cookies, and where it is helpful, and what are the vulnerabilities in the cookies are there. So we will be talking about that. So let me share the screen as quickly as I can. So screen is shared. Okay, so the next thing is like how to view cookies in Chrome. So I will be showing you about in the Chrome. You can easily see the similar way into Firefox and other browser also. I have given a link about it in the resources section. So for Chrome, if you go to here, you go to your setting page. In the setting page, if you go to advanced setting, so I have already opened the advanced setting, so let me hide it again and show you again. So advanced setting, go to the content setting. If I go to the content setting, and then so I have all here is the, if you see there is a cookies, and these are the permission which are allowed, like you can block third-party cookies and all this thing. And if you click on the all cookies, so I will have all the sites. See, there are like a lot of sites are there. So if I go to this are the this site 80,000 hours has put like 14 cookies onto my computer. Let me click on one and see the content. So it has put some encrypted kind of content. I don't know like why he has put this thing. It has put this thing, and so there must be something it wants to use this information for something else. If you go, I go to abcd10.com. If I see, there is no content. It just have created the text file on my disk, but there is no content. If I go to some other site, let me go any other site, like 24 time pass. So it have some cookies and it have this kind of content. Okay. Okay.
So this is also encrypted content.
Yeah, it depends like how the site is setting their content. They want to hash content or they want to encrypt this content. It depends upon them. So for example, like if you are a site, you want to store the user information, login credential on cookies. So next time when he tries to access your site, he should be already logged in. So you can fetch the cookies data, and you can you can directly log him through that. But the problem here is, or you can have the session ID data, something like that, and he can be like, if he have the session ID, you can allow him to like without logging he goes to his session. So something like that you can do. But if you put that thing into plain text, so any other person like can see that data, like okay, what content are there on your cookies, and anyone who is can intercept in between. So it's better to store your data into hash form or encrypted form in cookies. So we will look into more into detail. So that was about the cookies, like how you can see that. If you go to next, let's go to the code program. In the Flask app, I will try to show you like how you can create cookies and how you can like fetch the cookies. The both thing I just want to show you quickly. And so let me go. Let me check the server is already, yeah, the server is already on. So and if I go to the, let me open the folder also. So if I go to webcast, and then if I go to authentication folder, like the app which is there, I just need to open this into the Sublime. Okay, so there is a one folder cookies in which the Charul has put the code for this.
Code you have to copy and paste it into
app.py. I need to paste this code into app.py. So let me quickly do that. Let me copy this. Let me go to app.py. Let me create a section here. Cookies demo. Okay, quickly, and then I need to paste this route. So if you see this route, let me zoom more into it. Let me zoom into it. And if you see the route is here, I have made a set route. Okay, it accepts the GET and POST request. And then what it is doing, it is trying to make a make response. So make response is a Flask object, Flask class, which makes a dummy response rather than rendering the template. So it's a kind of make response it is creating, and then the response, like this is the response which will be delivered to the client. So the response object have a one attribute set cookies. So set cookies you can put the set cookies always takes the data into key and value pair. So webcast here is the key, and then the value is the cookie tutorial. So I'm trying to like set the cookie which will have the content webcast, and cookie tutorial is the content for that value. So let's go and check this, like whether this is working or not. So I think you need to import make response here. Yeah, okay, that's it. We need, I think we are good to go. And on the Chrome side, let me show you here. If you go to sources, okay, if you go to resources, and if you go to cookies, if I click on this local site, there is no, okay, I think I was trying to like, okay, okay, this site has no cookies, so I have deleted all the cookies. Okay, and now I need to set the cookies. Let me use this. Okay, now you can, everyone can see here, there is a webcast and this is a value cookie which has stored here. So this got stored in our site, and the make response return the setting cookie text. Now moving ahead, if the another part is like to fetch this cookie data and display it, like how, like if you have saved the user credential, you can fetch that user credential and use to log on behalf of the user rather than asking the user. So that is the way it has been done. Um, if I go to app.py again, I need to paste this thing here, and this is the get route endpoint is there. It is also accept get and post request, and then in webcast I am through, and how you can get the cookie data is through the request object. So request object have these cookies, and you can provide your key of the cookies and you get it. So I am just printing here the webcast is about the and the value of the webcast should be cookies tutorial. If we get that, it means that it have fetched the data from cookies. So let me do that quickly. Let me save this file first. The app will restart automatically, and let me do it. Okay, yeah. Now you can see here like the cookies tutorial it is printing. It means that it has fetched the data from the value from the cookies. So this way you can do that. And I think few of you asked me like how we can like set the time or expiration date for the cookies. Like you want to change this for a 30 days or month. So the way to do it, if you look into the API documentation of set cookie, it have the key and the value, and thereafter you can provide the maximum age, like you can provide years also or something like that. Expires is like Unix time, if you provide like 5 hours, 6 hours, something like that. So this way you, these are the these are, okay, let me zoom into it. So these are the way you can provide. So for example, if you want like it to expire as soon as it gets activated, you can put the Unix time as 0. So it's like this cookie will be get destroyed like once it created. So this way it works. So this was all about the cookies, and I think, okay, so there are like uses. So let me talk, let me change this to stop the screen sharing. Let me check. Okay, so yeah, so how cookies are used. The first thing we have already discussed is about authentication. Like for authentication, you can use it, Charu. Like you can provide the login information there, and it will like log in on behalf of you, like after fetching your credentials. But I think that is like very risky thing to do it, because if someone can like hijack, like there is a way cookie hijacking is there, or session hijacking, so people can get your credentials information. Another is session cookies. So session cookie nowadays are used to make like to not make user to log in their site again and again. It have a time frame attached to it, like for this time frame it will be there. And it's have like all these details, like for example, if you take Amazon site, so when you are buying something you put into your cart, so these are the data it is saving into, because it's about one session. Once you are out of the session, it doesn't matter like what were in your cart. So nowadays they have, I think Amazon have already implemented, they send this data on cloud server also. So it syncs on across devices. But initially what it used to be like, you have the, you are adding item into your cart, and this cart data are saved into particular session, and once you have closed the session, this data will be get deleted. The another is the persistent and tracking cookies. These are the cookies which are used by all the ad companies, like to show you ad. For example, like whenever you open a like YouTube, so you see ad. So the how they track it, like they might be like, there are different cases. So they might track it like, okay, you have already viewed it, so they will increment the counter. Okay, you viewed it like 5 times, so they will increase, okay, he's not interested anymore for the product. So something like that, they put this data and they use
Yeah,
for
like
advertising.
if I browse something on Amazon.com, then if I open Facebook, so it shows me the ads, the similar ads that I have seen on Amazon on other
Yeah.
website. So it shows me same kind of ads on the Facebook.com.
Yeah,
So
so
yeah.
that is, yeah, that is a one thing. So the idea here is like, the way you, the thing you are talking about is more about like ad network giving you recommendation about the whatever ad, but the way they are collecting the data about you, that is how they collect it through the cookies. So they put cookies on your platform, and they see like which kind of ad you have watched it, and then after they give you the recommendation. So that's the way. So yeah, so the last part of this webcast is about like, okay, any concern about the cookies. So there are two things. One is the cookie hijacking. So so it's like cookies are transferred like back and forth with the server, like all the time you are writing into it and then you are reading it. So these are all like transferred between server and client. So anyone in between can intercept this thing and can see the data.
Yeah,
So
so it should be properly encrypted,
yeah,
so that other party cannot use or encrypt your data.
yes. Another way is like cookie theft. So what happened? Like if you you might have seen in like I think lesson second. I think in that one we were talking about like how JavaScript, like this JavaScript can be used as to like a spam and all this thing. Here also it can be, if your site is like cross-site, through cross-site a scripting hack, they can like put some kind of JavaScript code which will be executed. And so if you see below here what attacker is trying to do, so what attacker is trying to do is like, on the click, what he's trying to do, he's trying to send your cookies data, document.cookie, to his server. So whatever you have personal information, and there is a click here. So if you click here, so whatever the cookies you have in that, because you have if you have not checked on your browser, third parties cookies are not allowed, then what happens that those cookies are already allowed in this domain. So what happened, if you uncheck the third party, if you block the third party cookies, so if cookies are not from the same domain which you are accessing, will not be allowed to save. So but most of people, we do not do that because of some reason. And so what happens that, so this attacker.com, he can read your cookies because you have not blocked the third party cookies, and can send your data. So this is the cookies theft. I think we came to end of the webcast. I think let's check like what student has asked question to us. Yeah. Okay. There is one question. if someone gets hold of a cookie from my browser, can they use it to authenticate as me? Yeah, so it depends upon what's the content of the cookie is. So for example, if your cookie have the content like login or the login credentials, so they can use these credentials to log in on behalf of you. But if it doesn't, that cookie doesn't have the information related to your authentication, then he can't. So I think they cannot impersonate you totally until unless it have the sensitive information, and this information is like in plain text or something which they can read or they can break it. So I think
Yeah,
this is the
so
answer.
I don't think there are any more questions.
So if you have more question, you guys, you can ask us, or I think
Yeah, like students can ask it later on also.
yeah, you can also post onto the Google, like Google G plus community also. There we can answer you at that place also. And the last, like for this session, like the authentication session webcast, the last will be OAuth. In the next time we will be covering OAuth for how to do the authentication. And I think that this authentication also involves lot of part of securities, like on the web securities, like for this example, the cookie hijacking or cookie theft. And there was on the certificate side, there was man in the middle attack that can also happen with the password. And then another one was like the plain text, we were sending the password, anyone can intercept that information. So authentication always like attached with this like security vulnerabilities, which I think that we will also cover that like in future, because they are like very separate topic. But the next time be tuned up for OAuth.
Yeah. Bye
Okay,
bye.
bye bye.